category, and the name, first I wrote a microphone, I wrote its function, and it is used to convert sound waves into electrical waves, and its category is input device. Then for output, I wrote a printer, turns digital data into printed media. Yeah, and
okay.
Yeah, I think that's what I wrote.
Okay, thank you so much. Can I have someone else? Someone else, please. I know everyone was in class. All right, I've seen someone's hand up. Just unmute and tell us.
Teacher?
Yes.
On inputs, I wrote a keyboard. The use of a keyboard. Keyboards are used to enter the text into the computer. Then I wrote a mouse. It is used to control the position on the screen and to select.
The position of what?
Of that cursor that moves, like
the cursor. Okay.
Looks like an arrow.
That is the cursor. Control
Then
the cursor.
Yes.
Okay.
Then I wrote a touchpad. A touchpad is used to control the pointers on the screen.
All right.
Then the remote control. The remote control is used to control the other devices like TV, PCs, and home entertainment systems.
Okay.
Then I wrote a scanner.
Where do I
A scanner is used to transfer the image with hard copies to someone talking.
Okay.
Password.
Yours. Okay, okay. Do we have members you think are not online now? Okay, so that is very good. Anyone else who would wish to share with us? So if that is done, then according to the program here, we need to assemble a computer. So we need to assemble. Is there anyone who would wish to share with us? Anyone? Okay, Raina Tomsange. Raina?
Teacher, I was asking for the use of a webcam.
A webcam, do you see me now?
Yes.
Do you see me now?
Yes, teacher.
You are able to see me. And the device we are using, what do you think it is?
A webcam.
A webcam. Now, what do you think a webcam is for?
Maybe to show images of a person while they're on a computer so that they can communicate easily and so on.
Very good. So you can do some more research, then you find out. But now we are using the webcam to communicate as you see me. So once the webcam is off, you'll not be able to see me, but you hear my voice, okay? So this kind of video conferencing is assisted by the computer, the webcam, the microphone, and then the internet connection. So do more research on this, but at least you know right now what this webcam is used for. Every time you have something you are not sure of, I want you to fast because our time is limited. Thank you. Now that you have looked at that, let us continue. We want to see the different parts of a computer, and on the screen we are able to see some of them. And when you put these ones together, as we said, probably someone can again tell us what a system is. Even those ones near me can tell us what a system is. And then after that, we'll look at these items we have on the screen individually. Someone there, please tell us what the meaning of what a system is. This is what we have. And I hope everyone is able to see. And probably you'll be able to name them. And then afterwards, we see how we can use them. Please, someone go ahead and explain. What is a system? Yes.
A system, like, you mean a computer system or just system?
System. Yes, system.
A system is interconnected parts that work together to achieve a set of objectives.
Okay, now add computer.
A computer system is an computer system are interconnected parts that work together to achieve a set of objectives of transforming data into meaningful information.
Okay, so whoever has heard that, it is not the same everywhere. You have your own way of phrasing it. Now that you have had some idea, could you please phrase yours and we hear Nabufu? Nabufu, rephrase what she said to mean the same thing. Because in your books, you not write the same definition, okay? Try to tell us what you understand by system, what you understand by computer system. It is you that we want it from you, not from somebody else. Yeah.
Okay. I think a system, a group of things that work together.
Mm-hmm.
A computer system. I think a computer system are the equipments that make up a computer.
Mm-hmm. Equipment. So I think we shouldn't use the word equipment. Equipment is sometimes a full set, but components, I think the word components would be, if you use the term components, it would be better, I think, because a computer has components like the mouse, like the monitor, the keyboard put together, all right? Okay, so the idea is okay, but we need to polish a little and then come up with this. Not polish, you need to read more, Now, I see Nabil Rayana.
Teacher,
Okay, Rayana.
Teacher, a computer system is a set of integrated devices that input, output, process, and store data and information.
All right. So we also wanted to know a system, because there are so many other systems other than the computer. If we just isolate the word system and we define it as a law, how do you define it? The system
Is a system, I think, is a set of things like working together as parts of a mechanism.
Okay, so do you think we humans are also a system? Do you think people are a system in themselves?
Yeah.
What makes us a system?
Organ?
Because I think because all organisms,
Because we
our
have
organs
multiple organs.
work together.
One person at a time. One person at a time. Whoever is not participating, please mute. Please mute. Okay.
Like, I think we are a system because our body is made up of different organs all working together to perform a specific function.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, thank you. We are not a heap of meat. Inside our body, we have organs like the heart, like liver, so many things. Just like the computer, inside the system, you need to have so many components. Apart from what you see on the outside, inside there are so many components that assist in processing. And on the outside, we see these ones which assist in inputting and outputting. So that system working together, the system of a computer system, including us, we are a system, but we are also included in the computer system so that the computer can function, because we are the ones that make the computer work. The people are the ones who create the computers, the ones who write programs. At the same time, they are the ones who benefit from it. So without people, the computer system would not be there, but so we become part of it. So we call that we are the human ware, okay? And so these components you see on the screen are for the hardware. We don't see the software and we don't see the humans, but they are part of it. So now, I want you to look at this picture here, figure 2.2, and please try to name, you mentioned the side where the item you're going to name is, and then give us the name, okay? So someone, Shifa, mention some. Shifa Namutebi? Shifa?
Yes. Teacher,
Okay,
a mouse.
just, you are?
A mouse.
A mouse, okay? This one here, if you're able to see my cursor, which side is it? For those ones who don't know it, which side is it? Okay, go ahead.
Middle, the right-hand side.
Second from right, right? Middle line, second from right. Go ahead. What does it do? Okay, that's all. Someone else mentioned another item. I see many items here.
A monitor.
A monitor. There is a monitor. Another one. Mention all of them. Yes.
A keyboard.
A keyboard is there.
Power supply cable.
A socket. A socket, yeah.
Power cables. And then the socket.
Charger.
A keyboard. A keyboard.
USB.
USB.
A switch.
A charging base.
Organized. If you see someone already talking, please you mute so that we don't confuse the system. All right, we have the power cables. We have the power cables. Power cables are appearing twice, the one in the upper right corner and then the one in the second line from left, the second from left. Those are power cables. Then we have the keyboard. We have, I want you to mention that component in the middle of the lower, the line at the bottom. That component in the middle.
Monitor cables, I think.
Monitor cable, yeah, it connects the monitor to, but it has its other name. What is the name given to it?
VGA cable.
Okay, so we have this one. This is the VGA cable, and when you look at the back, you find it has this one, a female part of the cable with many pins inside. Older cables used to have 9, and then newer cables have 15 pins inside. and the same thing at the back. So the one also look the same. This is the VGA cable, and then we have the power cable. This is the power cable. A power cable has a plug at the one side that goes into the socket, and then it has another connection that goes into the socket behind the computer on the power supply. We have a mouse. This mouse is connected to the computer using a USB connector, and you slot this one into the USB connector, port behind the computer or in front of the computer. I like it behind the computer because it doesn't disorganize the system. So this cable in front disorganizes the users of the computer. And there is an older version which has this kind of connector at the back, and this is PS2 connector. It also has its socket behind the computer, but this one is outdated and had a lot of issues, especially for those ones who don't know how to connect them, pressing the pins and disorganize them, and that would be the end of the mouse. Okay. We have the keyboard here. This keyboard also uses USB connector. You put it behind, and these are plug and play. You don't need to first switch on the computer and then connect the keyboard and then configure the system to accept it. No, you don't need to do that unless when you're using this, unlike when you're using this one. Usually you cannot plug and play PS2. It will not be recognized. You need to connect this one before you start the computer, or you restart the computer after connecting them. This is usually important, and when you're connecting these things, the computer is not yet on. You don't connect things when the computer is on. We also have another version. Now this one uses USB. There is another old version of keyboard that uses the PS2 connector. I hope you noticed the difference in colors. The one for the keyboard is purple, and then the one for the mouse is green. Okay, so behind there you'll find the same colors. The pins look the same, they are in the same position, and then when you mistakenly put green in purple, it will accept, it will enter, but it will not work because the green is for the mouse, and then the purple is for the purple is for, you don't hear? The purple is for the keyboard. Yes. So we also have, I don't see myself. Now we have the USB cable. The USB cable, it has this USB part, and then it also has this part which is not the same as the other one that connects to the peripheral device. This USB cable can connect up to 127 devices of the computer, and it is faster as compared to the other old ones. We used to have what we call parallel cables, and those cables were used for connecting printers on the computer. Something you haven't seen here, up here we have this small box with many sockets, and that's the UPS, an uninterruptible power supply. This device comes between the computer and the mains, or the power from the main or from the socket. It has the capability of stabilizing power and at the same time storing power in case power goes off and you haven't saved your work. you'll be able to do that and then properly switch off the computer before the battery stops working. So usually we need it in the computer rooms. We need it at home when you have computers, so that can protect our computers. Now, I want you to look at the back of the computer, because at the back of the computer is where we connect these components. And when you look at this, I wonder whether you can be able to read these ones. The first arrow at the left-hand top, the top left-hand side is power connector. And the power connector we talked about is that you slot in this part. You slot in this part into that area. It has 3 holes. One is for live, another is for neutral, and another is for earth. Okay, and that power connector is on the power supply. Could you please look me that box there, the power supply, so you can see. There. Ebiwaya biriyo biraba. Loba, tunuulira olugalo lwange. That box. Okay, that one. Okay, so it connects straight to the power supply, which converts AC to DC. Because computers use DC, they don't use AC. So the power supply, this one, this box that comes with your computer, converts AC current to DC current, so that the computer can now, computer components inside there can start working. So this is it. Some of these have two. It has the female and the male. You can connect your monitor here and then the system unit here. So meaning that you may need only one source of power that is going to supply both the monitor and the system unit. For this one we have on the screen, requires that you have another socket for the monitor and then a socket for the system unit. So as we said, the PS2 connectors, you have it here. One is for the mouse, which is green, and then the other one is for the keyboard, which is purple. We have the serial communication port. You can use it to connect the modem. We used to have modems that are not like the ones you have. The ones you have are more portable. They are USB connected, but there are those ones which are bigger and use cables to connect to the computer. And that's where we used to connect the telephone lines and other communication devices. And then the VGA, you notice that VGA cable has a blue color, this one. And then when you look at the back of the computer, you have that blue color socket where we connect to the VGA, and connecting that end to the computer, then we connect the other end onto the monitor at the back. You see the monitor has two connectors, but you're going to look at one which you have here. You don't have the other. So the blue one, the blue colored one, is the one that connects the monitor to the computer, so that you can be able to view what is happening into the computer. So now we have the USB ports. There are usually many. You can have also a hub, a USB hub connected to your computer, and that USB hub can also have so many others. As I said, USB port can connect up to 127 devices. You can have many devices connected to your computer, and it is taking over because up here we have what we call parallel port. This parallel port used to connect the printers, but it's now outdated. You use the USB cables. You buy a printer, and then it comes with a USB cable, which will connect you to the computer. So we have the jack, audio jack down here. And also the colors also determine what the port or the jack is used for. For example, audio out jack is green, then line in jack is blue, and then the microphone jack is purple. You can have some others. For example, if you have stereo speakers and you need to connect them to the computer, you can buy a jack, or some computers have all those ones. So they come, the computer comes with the 5 of these, but for now we have only those that we need. And when look down here, this computer has what we call a modem. Usually a modem has a port which connects with the cable that you have on your landline telephone lines. And this modem also uses a telephone line to connect your computer to the internet. It's kind of outdated. We used to call it dial-up connection. So you dial into the server that is given of the service provider, and then they connect to you. It has 2 ports. One of them helps you to protect this, it is a surge. You connect a surge protector to avoid lightning, threatening you. And then we have another one here where you see 10/100 Mbps RJ45. This one, when you come around, you go around the computer room, you'll find that many computers have this port, and they connect the computers to some sockets behind, and those sockets, or the hub. I remember showing, I don't remember whether it was you, but we have what we call a switch or a hub, and these cables go into the hub. I think, give me a moment, I get you the cable and then look at it also. Okay, so a cable, if you have ever seen a cable which has these ends terminated like this, we call this one RJ45 connector. And you too can do this if you become interested. Connect these to the computer. So they have a smaller switch here which has those ports. This is an 8-port switch. We call it switches, but they are not like the switches we have on our walls. And other types, we used to have what we call hubs. So this cable, one end goes into this, like this, and then the other end goes into the computer where you see Ethernet LAN port, and this one is then connected to the source of internet or network, and then the computer can now communicate with other computers within the same room or outside your area through what we call wide area network. At home, we have what we call local area network, but when you move out to connect to the world, then we are using the wide area network or the internet. So now this one helps you to expand the usage of your computer, so that you don't only depend on what is local on your computer, but now you can go outside your area to other people's computers. Like when you go to Google, you are not actually using your computer, you are using other people's computer to access the information you have. So now, when you go to
what is its name
it's
again?
I beg your pardon? The number of the ports?
No, the one which is used to expand using.
This one. This is a switch. We call it a switch. When we go into communication, look at the devices, but this one is a switch, and this switch is a hub where other computers meet Okay, so this cable coming from my computer will meet other cables coming from other computers to here. Okay, and then all the computers connected to this will be able to communicate. And we have, if we have another cable that comes from the source of the internet, then the computers locally will communicate, and at the same time, they'll communicate with those computers away from your location, okay? So this is a switch. You can call it a hub, but this is a switch, okay? All right, so when you go to buy a computer, it will not be connected as we use it in the computer room. You bring it where you're going to use it from, remove everything from their boxes, and then start connecting one by one. And when you are done, then you connect the computer to power and then be able to start and use it. This, we are talking about the desktop computer. For the laptop, yes, Najinda?
Does a VGA port work the same way as a HDMI?
It is not the same, but they do the same thing. An HDMI is much powerful, more powerful than the VGA, okay? And
Yes.
it's now, and now it's taking away VGA, though many computers come with this one, and many don't. Monitors and computers don't have. Many don't have the port for HDMI. Sorry, HDMI. So
Okay.
Another. All right. So now, when you unpack your computer, you are now going to connect each and every peripheral that you need to run the computer one by one. And when you are sure that you have done everything right, then you are going to connect the computer to the mains, to the power source. If you don't have if you don't have an interruptible power supply, UPS, you are going to just go straight to the mains, but it's very important that you have it. Otherwise, many problems may occur, especially lightning or power fluctuation can cause your computer to blow out. So now, I have this computer. I'm going to turn it around, and it's me. Okay, so this is our computer. It's a little bit. Are you people able to see this? Okay. You don't need to see me now. You only need to see the computer. This is our computer. This is the back of our computer here. Okay. Coming closer here. Coming closer here. People stop talking. Nabuf, do you have something to say? Yes? Okay. Now I want you to look at this. This is the power connector. Yeah, power connector. And we are getting the cable, the power cable, and we are going to put it. And someone come and help me. Go the other side. Let me get an assistant to help me connect. You connect. So that is where we connect the power supply, the power cable, like that. And this is the end of the power cable that goes to to the power source, that is the plug. It also has 3 pins. As I said, one is live, one is neutral, and another is earth. Okay, can you connect? Open it, unfold it, and connect the VGA. Someone is going to connect the VGA, and we said VGA is blue. And the good thing that the sides are not equal. It will not be hard for you to connect it. One side is wider than the other. So if you try, one side, let us look at this. One side of the VGA is wider than the other. Okay, you are able to see that it's not a rectangle. And on the screen here, even this one is not a rectangle. So when you're trying to put it there, this one helps you to avoid bending the pins in the cable. So now you look at this one and then look at the connector and then be able to decide how to connect it there. So when you are done pressing it, you have some screws. My camera is not really looking at it, but you have some screws. Am I able to show that? Yeah, you have some screws like those ones. You fasten the cable onto the system unit. So now we have the VGA cable connected and we have the power cable connected. We can't use this computer without a mouse and a keyboard. So we have the mouse, you unfold it and make sure that you connect it to the computer. It's an easy way. You look at the connector of the mouse inside it. You see that white part, and the white part there must also agree with the black part inside there, okay? So you turn it around. If you try to push it and doesn't enter, then you turn it around because the bigger part could be the one touching the other bigger part inside the port. So you connect it properly. First wait. I want to see it. Where is it? Okay. This. Okay, so we connect that one. Somewhere there. Okay, so now we have the keyboard, the mouse, and now we are going to connect the keyboard. And put them in the same location. Okay. Connect the keyboard. Okay, so if you have a printer, also a printer goes into the mouse. You connect the USB cable.
You have turned off your video.
A moment, just got lost. It is on. Okay, so show them the cable. This is the cable. It also has the same USB connector at the end, just like the one for the mouse and the keyboard. And we connect it into here. We have already connected it. And at the end, it has something like this. This is the part that goes into the device. The device like a printer, something like that. So someone come and bring the printer. We have the printer here. This is our printer, and this is where the cable goes. Here, this is power, and this is the cable. So we bring the cable. Okay, we get the cable and connect it to the computer. So it has some sharp corners, and the other corners are not sharp, as you can see. When you look into the port, you find that the upper part is not sharp, it has round corners, and that is how you connect it to the device. Okay, and that one is now. So if it is a new printer, usually printers come with CDs. If they don't have the drivers already installed on the computer, then you have to run the CD to make the computer work with this device. So after I have connected all these ones at the back of the computer, then we are going to get the cable into the socket. Like this here. Yeah. Okay, so on the line, some of the items we looked at was a socket. This is the socket. This is a double socket. Now, if you have power from the monitor, for the unit
connected to the wall.
I removed it from the wall so that I can bring it to you to see, but usually they are, and sometimes you use extension cables instead of sockets from the wall. Okay, you can use an extension cable because it can support a full computer system. So, but usually when you're using an extension cable, don't use the extension cable for ironing or other devices other than this computer and probably the printers, because you are overusing one socket and can cause fire. Okay, so now this is our socket where we connect we connect and then switch on, and when we switch on here, then we are going to look at the front part of the computer where we have the switch that will start the computer. Okay, so now I think I don't need a physical computer for this. We are going to use the picture I have on the computer. I'm moving about, don't worry, as long as you can hear me. I am the same person. Okay, so if they can allow you at home to disconnect the computer system and then reconnect it.
Because most of us have laptops, not computers.
You don't have desktop computers, you have laptops. Yeah, I wanted to say something about those laptops, that for them, you may get a laptop when the battery is not connected. And then you need to connect the battery. And it's very important that when you connect the battery to the laptop, you first charge it before you use it. Okay, they also have USB ports, And if you don't
Yes,
feel
we do.
comfortable, you don't feel comfortable using the touchpad, then you can connect a mouse to it and then use the mouse. Also connect other gadgets like your phones and so on, and then be able to communicate between one device and another. And many computers now, laptop computers, come with the Bluetooth. If you want to transfer something from your phone to the laptop, then you connect via Bluetooth and then be able to transfer, okay? So you can try those ones. You can connect devices wirelessly, or you can connect devices with connections, physical connections. We have mice and keyboards that can be connected via a wireless connection using sensors. And then you have these ones which have wires that go direct to the computer. So now all those things are there, okay? Now let us look at the front of the computer. Now this is an already connected computer system. Where you see someone's finger, that is the UPS, an interruptible power supply. Then we have the monitor, we have the keyboard, we have the system unit, which harbors all the internal components, including the hard disk and CPU, and then you have the mouse and printer. Basically, that is what we need usually, because when you do something, you want to print it out, you just need a printer. Other things come in as you need them. You may not have a scanner always connected to your computer. When you don't scan every day, you don't need a camera connected to your computer, because you need to move your camera to take pictures, which you bring and transfer to your computer. Other things come in as you need them, okay? So basically that is the computer system that we use always at home. Now, I chose ESA because ESA is what we have in our computer room, and I put only the switch.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
That whole thing, the back of the computer and the front of the computer, that whole thing, it's a base unit.
The base?
Is it the base unit?
Teacher,
yes. The whole box and all the components inside.
Yes, it's the base unit.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So a base unit is a new word, but it's usually referred to as system unit. And the box on the outside, what you see on the outside, that is the box that harbors and protects the devices inside the system unit, and it's called system case. The box is a system case, and then what is inside are the components inside the system case. The system case together with the components inside it is what we call the system unit, okay? So whatever we have seen at the back is connected to what we call the motherboard. And the motherboard has lines pressed on it that when you look at it, looks like a street, having streets as in a city, and those lines are what we call the bus lines, just like the word bus, those buses that you bought to go to Mbarara. It's a bus lines that move data from one component to another, from a point to the CPU, one point from the CPU, one device from the CPU, to the CPU, and from CPU to the memory, and so on and so forth. So we have different types, and we are not going to talk about those, but whatever you connect to the computer has a line that takes it to the CPU, the central processing unit, for processing, and then back to us to get what we want. Just like we have the sensory system in our body, whatever we touch and feel, it feels like it is that area that feels it because it is the one touched, but there is a connection between that part that you touch and feel with the brain that processes everything. So that's why they call the central processing unit the brain of the computer, because all the senses that we feel go to the brain first and then back to the affected part of the body. Okay. Yes.
Teacher.
A CPU, someone is asking what is a CPU on a computer, and we are saying a CPU in full is the central processing unit. It is found on the motherboard. This is the main component of the computer. Without it, the computer is nothing, okay? Just like when you don't have brains, you are nothing. You cannot think, you cannot do anything, because between you and the rest of the body, there's no connection. So the central processing unit is the main processing device in the computer, aided by other devices inside there, process data. Without it, you cannot have. So, I mean, you don't have a computer. So many computers, when you look at it, you find Intel inside, something like that. They're talking about the processor inside it, okay? I'm going to get the motherboard for you, and then you look at where the location is, but that is not what we are supposed to be looking at, okay? Now I put the switch, you press that switch. Some computers have switches that are kind of hidden. Someone doesn't see it properly, especially these computers, the ESA computers. People come to the computer room and then they look for the switch and they fail to find it. But the sign is clear. There is that round kind of figure with a small straw. Look at that one, then you know that is the switch. And when you switch on and the computer doesn't go on, then you need to check and see whether your connections, the connections made, were proper. If they were not proper, then you are going to try again and fix them properly. Sometimes you didn't switch on the switch of the socket. Sometimes the plug you use doesn't really connect with that socket, and many times doesn't start. To have those problems with plugs and sockets. And so if they don't work well, you try it. And when you switch on the computer, remember the keywords we had at the beginning. One of them was booting. Booting is the starting of a computer. And it goes through many processes. It will not go straight to what you want. It will first check and see that every connection you have on the computer is proper. You have the keyboard is there, the memory is working well, the hard disk is working well, and everything is okay. And then it will now load the operating system into memory. We are talking about memory. We have what we call RAM. You look at that when time comes, and then it loads. It gives you a screen from where you can now start, okay? And it has the start button on the screen, which you press to find whatever you want in the computer. Or you can explore by going to this computer and click on it, and then go to find what you want to find. So that is that. Akampumuza, do you have something to say? Akampumuza?
Yes, teacher. Yes, teacher.
Go ahead. Okay.
Teacher, I was asking. I wanted to ask if that device can be called an amplifier.
Which one? The UPS?
The one that, yes.
I want you to find the meaning of the word amplify. Amplify. Do you go to parties or weddings, whatever? Those people come, the DJs, they come with their computers, and then the speakers, and then they have a gadget there, which is an amplifier. At assembly here, we have that device. The electrician connects where the electrician connects the microphones. That is an amplifier. Okay. So I didn't know which one of those did you mean, or were you referring to? Of the components we have on the screen, which one did you We're trying to talk about the UPS or something else.
The monitor.
The monitor.
The monitor.
A monitor cannot be an amplifier.
Because many people.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Meanwhile, let me get you the What do they say?
Because many people say that it is. Because many people say that it is an amplifier of a computer. So I was asking if it is right to say that it is an amplifier.
No,
something.
I don't think it's an amplifier. What does it amplify? No, it's not. It's not. Okay, let me get you the motherboard. Someone asked about the CPU, so. Okay, so this is the back of the computer, and everything is connected to the motherboard. Unlike before, we used to have what we call adapter cards that we connected to the motherboard via what we call expansion slots. These ones here, these ones here, and these ones could have a part of them outside the computer behind there, where we could connect everything. But now everything has been changed, that every port of any device you want to connect to the computer is integrated on the motherboard. Someone asked about the central processing unit, and you are able to see this fan here, the fan we have here, and on below the fan we have what we call a sink. This sink is used to absorb heat from the CPU, which is under here, and then the fan to cool the CPU. The CPU requires these because it heats up so much, because the only thing that works harder in here that generates a lot of heat, and therefore it needs cooling all the time. So this fan, when it stops working and the sink heats up so much, then the central processing unit will stop working. But for now, I cannot remove it for you because it is covered inside there. Next time I'll get it for you. It's not something big, but something very, very strong, powerful, very powerful. You know, it's not the size of the head that harbors knowledge for people. No, even someone with a very small head can be very, very wise. So CPUs have made smaller. Yes. Go ahead.
So that fan that cools, that part that generates a lot of heat, is it just called a fan?
Okay. It's just a fan, and the sink is a sink. A sink is made out of aluminum. It picks heat from the central processing unit, and then the fan helps to cool the sink, which picks heat from the central processing unit. You also find that the power supply also has a fan inside. If this fan stops working, then the power supply will heat up, and then the computer will jam and stop working. Just like your vehicles at home, when there is no water in the radiator, the vehicle will heat up and then stop moving. So cooling is a very necessary thing in the computer system. That's why we need air conditioners and well-ventilated computer rooms to avoid too much heat in the computer, so that their lifespan can be prolonged. Okay, so now we switch on the computer and start using it. So let us go back again. We have looked at this, and we are going to see we have an activity here. We have looked at these ones. And hardware, we have looked at this, categorized as input devices, and then output, storage, processing, and there is also communication. And when these devices are put together, they make a computer system. For a computer system to work well, the above hardware devices must be connected properly. For instance, a keyboard, mouse, monitor should be connected to the system unit. The system unit and monitor then connect to the power directly to the socket or through a UPS by using power cables. What we didn't do here was to connect the monitor to the central processing unit. The same way we connected it, we connected this cable to the system unit is the same way we connect this one here at the back. I don't know whether you are able to see. The back is here, somewhere here. And when we connect it, then we have completed this.
So the VGA connects
yes.
the system unit to the monitor.
To the monitor. I'm trying to find better where I can put it. Now this is it. You connect it here. You connect it here. You don't see very well because I'm holding the monitor. I can't hold the camera. You are able to see it from here. And then on the other side, we have the power connector. So we get another power cable connected here and then to the socket, and then switch on the monitor. Usually when you are switching on, starting the computer, we start by switching on the monitor because we want to see what is taking place inside the computer when we start it. You cannot start the CPU, the central processing unit switch, and then the monitor next, because there's something we miss when the computer starts. So we want to see exactly what is happening, all the information that the system is giving us to be seen, and if there is an error, to correct it. Okay, so for instance, we are saying, for instance, a keyboard, mouse, monitor should be connected to the system unit, as we did, and then the system unit and monitor then connect to the power supply, because those are the ones. As I said, this one can give you power for both devices, but the one we looked at only gives you power for one device, so you need another socket for the monitor and then a socket for the the system unit. If you are setting up a newly purchased computer, you'll probably find a how to use or a user guide in the packaging that includes step-by-step details. However, even if it doesn't include instructions, you can still set up the computer in just a few easy steps. So I advise you the other time to download, if you can, the ICT prototype for learners. If you have it, then you have these steps there, okay? And also have the activity of integration that we need to do so that we get to know whether we have actually got what we wanted to get from this. So I'm not going to go through these steps. Let us look at this, because these steps are activities that you need to follow. Assembling a computer system, we have assembled it, and then the other explain any steps to be followed to assemble a computer system, as in one above. You saw that on those steps, they are going to look at them, and what precautions must be taken while assembling a computer system. Try to look at that and then give us the precautions that you must take. I mentioned some. though I was not strict at them. And then starting and shutting down a computer. Starting and shutting down a computer system after assembling a computer. That figure I have seen up there. The next step is how it can be powered on correctly, used, and then shut down with proper procedures. The process of starting a computer, we said, is booting. We have two types of booting. For example, you are starting the computer for the first time, you're going to do what we call cold booting. Okay, and then you are going to restart a computer that has refused to, accept your commands or hanged. Then you're going to force it to restart so that it can now work again properly. But we are not looking at those ones. We are looking at starting a computer. And then down here, we looked at the switch. So once you have made everything properly, connected everything properly, the only thing is to press the switch, and then the computer will start. Press the switch and wait. Depending on the RAM you have, the memory you have, that will be the time it will take to set up itself so that you are able to use it. Once it has set up itself, then as I said, you're going to log in if you have a user name and password. And then once you log in, it will open your account and then you start using the computer. Yeah, it's very important that you users have user accounts and then be able to have your work privately stored so that if you're using it, so many people, everyone uses their account and then protect your work. Okay, starting the computer, make sure that all the plugs are well connected. Okay, switch on the electricity socket and then an interruptible power supply if you have it. If you don't have it, you're just going to switch on the sockets and then come to the computer and press the start button on your computer. Then press the power button on the computer monitor. First, it should show signal. Usually when it shows no signal, it means that it's not properly connected. When you see no signal on the screen, you are only seeing what is on the monitor, not what is coming from the computer. So make sure that you see that the VGA cable is properly connected, because it's now clear that the monitor is receiving power, but what doesn't receive is the information from the computer. It doesn't communicate to the central processing unit. So press the power button on the system unit. Extend there. And press the power button on the system, then the computer should now start to boot and load Windows. We are talking about Windows because that is what we use most. You mute. Okay, in the welcome screen up here, select your username and then enter the password. If you are many users, select your name and then use the password. In our computer room here, we have user 1, user 2, or you have NGS, you have Navisunsa. Choose Navisunsa or NGS where you have the password, and then now the desktop will appear. We'll call it the desktop, but it's also a folder in the computer. It's the first thing, everything is put, just like your desktop, where you put your folders, the applications. Bring the phone. The applications and everything you want. You can put the calendar there, you can put the calculator there, your notebook, and so on. For easy, how did you go in? Okay, so you go outside. All right, so give time to load the elements and then start up programs. Now that is it. So you are free to do whatever you want with the computer. You want to go to the internet, you go to the internet. You want to go to Paintbrush, you go to Paintbrush, play about with this the system, and then get used to it. So that is it, okay? Then shutting down, we don't go to the switch on the system unit. We go to the start button there and then look for power. When you click on power, it's going to give you options. One of them is hibernate, another is restart or turn off, and another may be log off. Okay, so you've been using the computer and someone else wants to use it. You don't shut down the computer, you just log off.
You mean the sleep thing?
Yeah, sleep. You know those animals which hibernate, they eat and preparing for a certain season where they cannot go out, and then they use, okay, so they hibernate, they are inactive all that time, and then this computer becomes inactive, it is asleep. You need to command to touch the somewhere on the mouse, click something, and then you wake it up and then log in and use it. But we are saying that we have options like turn off the computer, standby or hibernate, and then restart. Restart means that probably you have installed a certain program, and in order for it to work, you need to restart. Or been doing some checkup or restoring some programs on the computer, and then it requires that you restart the computer so that whatever you have done becomes effective. So log off means that you are switching off, you as a user, signing out. You can call it signing out. You sign out, and so that probably someone else can come and use the computer. That doesn't mean switching off, but just you as a user to sign out, like you sign out from your email, so that other people, when they come and start the computer, they don't go into your inbox. You sign out. And this one, you sign out so that whoever comes to use the computer doesn't go into your account. So that's the purpose of signing out or logging off. So we have an activity here, and starting and shutting down a computer. That's what I want to use. Unless you have questions, people, I think our time is up, and I want you to practice this. Go to the internet if you have the chance. Look at the look for things like starting a computer or connecting computer components to the system unit. You'll find some people doing that because almost everything is there. Go to look for how to shut down a computer. You find the YouTube to do that. And so you widen your knowledge about this. Next time I'll give you the activity of integration. But to achieve something from this, people there, we have only 1 minute, and people mute. Okay, so I think you are tired. Let us call it a day. Have a nice
Teacher, bye.
Bye, girls. Nice day.
Bye bye.
Okay, have a nice time, people. And do some research. Do some research.
Bye, guys.
Okay, do some practical.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Bye, Namicho. Bye, everyone.
It's only activity 2.1.
Okay, have a nice day.